I now put Delegates Report DR 18/003 2018 Floodplain Management Conference, moved by Councillor Thompson, seconded by Councillor Tate. Any questions or debate, councillors? Councillor Thompson.
Look,
Sorry,
excuse me.
Sorry, just clarify. I had my light on first.
Oh, my apologies, Councillor Mayne.
Thank you.
Councillor Mayne.
Thanks, Madam Mayor. Look, a conundrum for me. I'm going to make a fairly contentious comment because I'm concerned with, not Councillor Thompson, calm down there. It's not an issue with the council or the report. It's an inconsistency I read in the report. So I welcome the input of the OEH that's alluded to and suggested in this report for our future work in this space. Subject matter experts, terrific. Yet this council, on one hand, looks potential to welcome OEH, government departments, subject matter experts, yet when it comes to rural land strategy, conveniently can set it aside and not take on their subject matter expert advice. So the clarity I'm seeking as a councillor is, do we get to pick and choose when we use government departments, and at one day they're a subject matter expert, but the other day that's not acceptable? We don't need them, thank you very much, because it doesn't line up with our agenda. What message is that sending to our community in terms of what faith do we have in this state government's departments that operate in our shire? I'm really concerned about a potential mixed message here. Would welcome any clarification, or maybe it's just me. Could be.
Maybe it is just you, councillor. But what I will say to you on this is those government departments offer their opinions. It is up to council to consider those opinions in the decisions that we make. And in the case of the Rural Land Strategy, the Office of Environment and Heritage for 5 years was at the table. So they had ample opportunities to provide their opinions for consideration from the committee and therefore subsequently through to the council. So I absolutely refute the allegations that you've drawn towards this council.
I'm not. I was asking for clarification there. It's not an allegation, but
I think I gave you some clarification, councillor. Do you have a question?
Just as a follow-up, Madam Mayor, thanks for the clarity. Well, no, it goes to the heart. It goes to the heart of the integrity of why we as a council would invite OEH in here when they gave us a report in 2016 and again in 2018. We simply did not accept any of their recommendations. Well, if they're that average, why would we want them back? Are we saying they're that average that we do not accept
Councillor, I'm going to call a
recommendations?
point of order on you because this has little relevance to a delegate's report. Thank you. Councillors, Councillor Pollock.
No, I think I was going to go along the same tangent, that if we accepted everything that had been served up to us by the OEH in the 30 plus years that I've been here, we would represent one of the most backward communities that you could imagine in this state. We employ experts and professional people to assess the relevant situations and factors affecting our community, and we are elected to make the best decisions possible on the information that's provided, not necessarily to go hand in glove and bend over to the whims of people who might blow in here for a couple of days, give an authoritative opinion with absolutely bugger all knowledge as to the real facts and issues existing on the ground in this place.
Excuse me, councillor. Excuse me, councillor. Please, no, councillor, you've been called on a point of order. This is not the appropriate time or place to conduct a debate on this matter. Thank you, councillor. I'll put the matter to the vote. Councillors, those in favour? Oh, apologise.
James hasn't spoken.
Sorry.
With his floodplain.
And Councillor Nathan, you also wanted to have a...
Well, yes. Through you, Madam Mayor, I see that Ian Dignam suggested that Councillor Thompson speak with Duncan McCluskey of the OEH. My question is, did he have that opportunity? And as all of these people from OEH are individuals, do we know the background that he comes with to provide the advice?
Yeah, I definitely spoke with Duncan. He's one of the head guys. He's actually one of those people that writes the manuals that we use in these areas. So, what I was speaking with him about is ongoing, about getting flood studies on the Churros and so on. So that's in the pipeline. So, getting back to speaking to it. Look, FMA conferences.
Before you close the debate, Councillor Tate also has his light on. Councillor Tate.
Was Councillor Thompson going to close it, or was he speaking on the...
Well, he can't close until you have made any comments or asked any questions.
Yeah, but the question was, did he finish answering mine as to the background of the people?
I can do that for you. Through you, Madam Mayor, put your seatbelts on, because I'm going to tell you a few things about this conference. To go there with Councillor Thompson was a privilege. The respect that he has gained in the short time that he's been on the FMC is amazing. These people are individuals. You are able to walk up and speak to people not at the top of their field in councils, not in the top of their fields in state. These people are top of their fields in the whole world, and they will sit down and talk to you. Duncan McCluskey, his resume is about that long, and just walked up. Can I speak to you for a minute? Of course you can. Sit down, mate. What do you want to talk about? All these people. I met with a guy from California who was a planner in flood management there in a little place called Reardon, and they asked him could he go and look at it. He went and had a look at it. He said, well, we've got two choices. Do you want to live there and get drowned, or do you want to shift your village, your town onto the top of the hill? They played on the top of the hill now. They've got a beautiful waterway through their town, everything. These people initiated to me that the rest of the world spends 97% of budgets on floodplain management on putting it in, and 3% on the clean-up after it's happened. Australia, we do it the other way around because we're a bit too smart. We spend 3% on infrastructure and 97% on clean-up because of the fact that we've got so much rubbish red tape that doesn't allow councils and other authorities to put up what should be there in place. This conference, I was there, we worked hard, and anyone that thinks that councillors go to conferences to have a love about time are in the totally wrong concept. I think there was 26 workshops for the 3 days. I did 22, and I think James did virtually the same. And these people, the initiatives that I've learnt, that I've come back and spoken to the GM about, and James has as well, I congratulate James on being respected so well up there, and I guarantee that any money that we spent for the ratepayers will well and truly be returned many, many folds over.
Now you can close the debate, Councillor Thompson.
Yeah, and I can look. I can definitely back up what Councillor Tate said. He worked flat out the entire time. I don't think there was an expert or a presenter there that he didn't collar. That's right. And I think we both got an awful lot out of it. It's a great place to learn about flood issues from the people, as we said, on the front line. The hydrologists, engineers, planners, and in some cases policymakers. I'll just read a passage from the report, excuse me, which sort of might show you why it is important that we're involved in these sort of things and we need to be planning. 91% of global disaster events are weather-related. 51% of global fatalities are weather-related. 79% of global economic losses are weather-related. In Australia, the costs of weather-related disasters are projected to rise from $18 billion annually now to $39 billion annually by 2050, with a projected population of 39.5 million people. So, yeah, we need to be actively planning for these events. And as Councillor Tate said, maybe looking at changing the model to spending more money being prepared than spending all of that money just cleaning up afterwards. But no, look, I love being a part of FMA, and I think it's something we should definitely stick with going forward. So, yeah, I commend the motion to pass the report.
Just a question in regarding to what you're saying and information you're receiving is that, and Councillor Pollock may remember, a few years ago when I was first elected, we had some weather professionals or data professionals on weather from the University of ANU, I think it was, came down and addressed council and gave us their opinions on the long-term weather forecast and how that was impacting on our community and impacting on our water issues and things like that. So I'm just wondering whether there's any opportunity where we as councillors can be briefed on the sort of information that you might have achieved at the conference, in particular that, because I think planning for these weather events, because the weather has changed so much, and with temperature rises and the stuff in the climate, there was a thing on the ABC yesterday about how it's creating more intense highs and more intense lack of rainfall, drought, so periods of extremes. So is there any way we can sort of look at doing something like that? I think it'd be very educational for the councillors in particular.
Noted, Councillor, and we'll look into that. Councillor McGinley.
Sorry, just on protocols, didn't Councillor Thompson close the debate then?
He did, but you can ask a question.
Still ask questions, just for future reference. I'll phrase questions next time. Thank you.
See, you're learning process as we go, Councillor, and it does take time. Councillors, I put the motion to the vote. Those in favour? Carried.